Well, good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Today I have the Rhino, and we're looking at a beer. Today's beer is from 88 Brewing Company. And it's good to know that the two beers I've had by 88 have basically had kind of the same labels, just different coloring. So this is this one. This is Good Morning Vietnamese Coffee Stout. Good Morning Vietnam, for those of you that don't know the movie. Good movie. Robin Williams. All right. What do we got on here? Good Morning Vietnamese Coffee Stout. Vietnamese Coffee Stout. The best part of waking up is this stout in your cup. It doesn't say that. It's just the best part of waking up is 88's Vietnamese. Oh, I can't. Let's try that again. The best part of waking up is 88 Brewing's Good Morning Vietnamese Coffee Stout in your cup. Doesn't roll as well as Folgers. Doesn't. We're looking at 6.5% alcohol, strong beer, ingredients, water, barley, oats, hops, yeast, coffee, and chilang. Chilorg? I'm blind. I can't fucking see it. It's from Calgary, Alberta. And this was purchased, and I can tell by the thing covering its barcode, this was purchased at the Sobeys liquor store in a single. And because that's blocking its barcode, this was a 4-pack, or it was in a mix pack that was broken or was dropped or something, and they were trying to sell it off. I'm guessing it's possibly old stock, but I do not see a canning date on the bottom. I do really like the look. I want to buy a lapel mic so you guys can hear the snap, crackle, pop. And maybe you could hear my deep voice in a better way. Maybe I'll turn you on with this here voice. Oh, yeah. Oh, because I won't do it with my looks, but my voice might just do it. But this, unless you have a Santa thing, this ain't doing shit for you. That's why I like that my wife has a Santa thing. She doesn't really, but hey. Beautiful, beautiful looking beer. Sent from the can. Oh, wow. Loads of chocolate, loads of deep, dark roasted coffee, a little bit of that slightly less bitter, slightly less rich green coffee note. For those of you that haven't roasted your own beans, coffee beans are normally green, and they give off a very vegetable-like scent, but at the same time, coffee. And then you roast them to as dark as you want them to be. But I've always found green coffee beans fascinating, and making coffee out of green coffee beans fascinating, and doing anything with green coffee beans fascinating. I've found roasting my own to be fascinating. So, yeah, fascinating. How many more times can I say fascinating in this video? It's fascinating that you're trying to say fascinating so much. I have a fascination with the word fascinating. Okay, I'm done. I'm done being an idiot. We'll let that head die down a little bit. Ruby red at the very bottom. Deep mahogany brown in the middle. A deep, more mocha head. I love the tunnels being formed. I really do. Sounds nice. Guess it's time to try it, eh? Okay, cheers. Okay, so here's the two things I'm going to say. Like the last 88 beer I've had, the flavor is not nearly as punchy as I kind of expected. The other one was a dry hop sour, and I should have known that it wasn't going to be all that big and bad. But I didn't. I was like, oh, this sounds like it'll be really good. And then it was meh. It was solid, it was. So I shouldn't say meh. It was good. But I was expecting more. I mean, it was from Calgary. It was this, it was that. I'm like, oh, it's like the mecca of breweries in the prairies. And then I got that. This sounded like it was going to be great. Vietnamese coffee is very rich. It's very fulfilling. It's very creamy. It's not. Not saying it's bad. Just saying it's not living up to the expectation. When I was dating Vietnamese girls, the best part was the Vietnamese coffee. No, that wasn't the best part, but hey, I can say that. Okay. Lots of chocolate. Chocolate from front to end. Lots of coffee. Coffee from front to end. It is a very apparent coffee flavor. It is a roasted coffee flavor, but it smells like a darker roast than it tastes. It has the bitterness that hits the back of the tongue. But other than that, it's a very well-rounded coffee flavor that mixes well with the chocolate. There's a little bit of like an oak tannin flavor at the back of your palate. Like you had an oak tongue depressor and you held it back there and you're like, and then you took it out and you just had that drying oakiness at the back. Heavier mouthfeel. All in all, a very solid drinking beer. A very solid drinking beer. Is it a beer I would write home about? No. Is it a beer I would push my wife out of bed for? No. Is it a beer I'd push my dogs out of bed for? No, they can sleep with me more than this thing can. That being said, I do really enjoy the beer. It's a great beer. It's well made. I think in this aspect, I like this that 88 seems to be a little bit more subdued in their beers. It's more like they're stepping stone beers to the more hyped, more sought after coffee stouts and dry hopped sours and all that. It's like, here, you don't know what this is really about. Here, try this. And then it's something that you could have more and more and more, but it's not going to overpower your palate. And I mean, that's the thing. I could drink 5 or 6 of these. I'd be drunk or starting to be drunk because I haven't drank the way I used to and they're 6.5% alcohol. But they wouldn't overload my palate. And that's the thing with it, right? It wouldn't overload my palate. And that's great. I'm glad it wouldn't overload my palate. We don't want to overload your palate. Palate can break if you overload it. Talking about breaking palates, you know what I know that I'm a 300-pound almost man, right? I'm like, I fluctuate between 280 and 299. So I get it. I'm a big guy. But when a pallet comes off a truck, and I know why it happens too, right? I know this is just the way it is, right? When a pallet comes off a truck and it has like 4,000 pounds on it and it did not break, and then you step on said pallet when it's almost empty to grab the last box or something, and you fall through, that really hurts, man. It's like, well, how fucking heavy am I? And I know it's happening because, it's not weight distributed across everything. I get it. I do. It still stings, man. It still stings. 8.5 out of 10. Cheers. Bye-bye.